Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Mrs. Kahestiana and our beloved friends, here we want to presentation our material. The title is the media. Before that, let me introduce ourselves. There's me, Lenggo Geni. So there is Torha Banda, Agit Purnama Putra, and the last is Delsa Sakia. And we are continue to our media.
Okay. The first is the print media. The print media, newspaper and magazine, began to develop in the 18th century. Initially, a wide circulation was hindered by transportation and distribution, illiteracy, and government licensing or censorship restrictions. But over the last 200 years, an expanded educational system, abolition of government control, new pen inventions, and Britain's small area have ameliorated these difficulties and created allegedly free print media. The growth of literacy after 1870 provided the owners of the print media with an increased market. Newspaper and magazines, which had previously been limited to the middle and upper classes, were populated. They were for news and information, but also for profit and entertainment. Ownership, new types of print media, and financially rewarding advertising increased the competitive atmosphere of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Owners also realized that political and social influence could be achieved through control of the means of communication. Next is national newspaper. National newspaper are thus published mainly from London, with some regional versions, and are available in all parts of England and on the same day, including Sundays. The first newspaper with limited national circulation appeared in the early 18th century, and others followed, such as the Times, the Observers, and the Sunday Times. In the 19th century, condition about the type of newspapers produced. The first popular national newspaper were deliberately printed on Sundays, such as News of the World and People. They were inexpensive and aimed at a growing and increasingly literate working class. In 1896, 96, Alfred Harmsworth produced the Daily Mail, which was targeted at the lower middle class as an alternative to quality dailies. Harmsworth then published the Daily Mirror in 1903 for the popular working class market. Both Mail and Mirror soon sold over 1 million copies a day. The early 20th century was the era mass circulation. Newspaper and owners such as Harmsworth and Morning Herald was created in 1900 to compete with the Daily for lower middle class readers. The Daily Mirror was biggest selling national daily in the early 20th century, but the success of early popular press was due to growing literacy, the desire for knowledge and information by the working class. The national newspaper circulation increased rapidly with 5.5 million daily sales in 1920. By 1973, this had increased to 17 million, but newspaper had to face a radio and film competition, and later with television. Although they have survived since the 1970s, there has been a decline in the sales and number of national and other newspaper. Okay, next is regional newspaper. Some 1,300 regional newspaper are published in towns and cities of Britain. They contain a mixture of local and national news, are supported financially by regional advertising, the daily, morning, or evening papers, Sundays or weekly. Some 9 out of 10 adults read a regional or local paper every week, and 75% of local and regional newspaper also operate an internet website. Excluding its national newspaper industry, London has one paper, the Evening Standard, with daily sales of 14 414,000. But there are also about a half local weeklies, dailies, and evening papers, which appears in the Greater London districts. Quality daily regional and national papers such as the Scotsman and the Glasgow Herald and the Western Mail and the Yorkshire Post have good reputations and sales outside their regions. But the best-selling papers are in Scotland, such as Daily Record and the Sunday Post. Britain's ethnic communities also produce their own newspaper and magazines, which are increasing in numbers, are available nationally in the larger cities, and are improving in quality. There is a wide range of publication for Jewish, Asian, Afro-Caribbean, Chinese, and Arabic readers, published on a daily or, more commonly, periodic basis. And the last is periodicals and magazines. There are 10,000 different magazines and periodicals in the UK, which are weekly, monthly, or quarterly, and depend on sales and advertising to survive. They are aimed at different markets and levels of sophistication, and cover commerce, professions, and business. Read by 95% of the occupational group, or consumer titles related to sports, hobbies, and interests. Among the serious weekly journals are New Statesman and Society, left-wing political and social magazine. The Economist deals with economic and political matters. The Spectator, a conservative journal, and New Scientist, the Times published informational weekly magazines such as Educational Supplement, Higher Education Supplement, and Literary Supplement. The sunnier side of cricket was filled by with magazines such as Private Eye, which satirized the brief arrival of British society.
Okay, and then uh, the broadcasting media divided into public and commercial independent and conservative media. Terrestrial television slash satellite television, three or the authorities oversee that service. The brightest broadcasting channel BBC, Independent Television Commission (ITC), and the Radio Authority. Radio was the first uh, broadcasting media to appear in real time. Experimental run at the end of 1983, and system were development in the early 20th century after a period of limited availability. National Radio established in 1922 when the British Broadcasting Company was from under John Reed. In 1927, Reed became the first Director General of the British Broadcasting Corporation (BBC) and set the tone and style of the BBC development. The BBC a monopoly in broadcasting and patronal right penalized insistent that it would be independent of development and commercial interests, strive of quality and public service broadcaster with the duty of inform, educate, the BBC. The BBC is a broadcasting house in London, but has a station of the country provide regional network for radio and television. It was created a radio shuttle and has a board of governors who are responsible of supervising in programs and their citability are applied by the crown on the advice of government minister and are supposed to constitute an independent element in the organization of the BBC. Daily operation the controlled by Director General, chosen by the Board of Governors. The BBC is financed by a grant from Parliament, which comes from the sale of television license £1.6 million per year. These are payable by anyone who owns a television set and are relatively cheap in international term 104 annually for a color set. The BBC also generated considerable income selling program bond and from the sale of programs got radio time, books, magazine, and videos. Next. The ITC. The ITC Independent Television Commission does not make our product programs itself. In government appoint board regulated the independent television companies, including cable and satellite service. In get listen to the transmitting companies and independent products who actually finance television channels ITV /Channel 3, Channel 4, and Channel 5. There are 15 ITV production companies at present, such as Canada, North, West, England, Central, the mainland country of England, and Anglia. As Anglia, London has two companies holding one license, with one providing programs during the week time, the over at weekend, London weekend. These companies make programs for the 14 regions into which BTI is divided for ITV television purpose. The license granted to ITV companies are renewable every 10 years, and the companies have complied with any other interested applicant. It is by mean contact that further listen with the granted to the existing company or a new one to high bidding company ITV with the 30% audit share. Is the audit independent channel and at one time appeared to only provide popular programming with light entertainment and the sometimes trivial kind. But the quality has improved and now holds a high standard of new sport, drama production, and commentary by law. ITV must provide program production in and about the territory represented by the production company. Next. No. Materi the raw and influence television. The radio authority control independent. The radio authority control independent radio 3 national station and 150 local and regional throughout the country, all are funded by advertising and revenue. Fingers suggest that radio is the fastest growing medium in Britain. The nation station were created to encouraging list our 1991 to classic FM population equal new teen. The second in 1992 to regain 12, 15 rock music and thus in 1995 to talk radio UK speak best service. Next. The role and influence of television. Television is influential of dominant fronts in modern Britain, as well as a popular entertainment activity. Over 98% of the population have television set in their home. 95% of these are color sets, and over 50% of homes have two sets or more. Some people prefer to rent their set instead of owning them because rented sets are repaired and maintenance fee option. However, a recent report 2001 suggests the radio commission and BBC is now more popular than television, indicating that some people are deserting the last because of its all-legend superficiality. Now we will nevertheless, television has an average viewing time of 76 hours per week. Okay.
Okay, next, media ownership and the freedom of expression. The financial and ownership sector of the UK is complex and involves multiple media outlets, including press and but this kind of ownership is declining. Today, it's more common for newspapers to be owned and controlled by corporations with interest magazine and satellite and cable companies. Of large cooperation in the media and the resulting concentration of ownership in a few hands, such as newspaper controlled by News International and Trinity Mirror, that raised concern. The question of freedom of expression in the media continues to be a concern. Critics argue that the media does not have sufficient freedom to comment on matters of public interest, but the freedom of the media as individuals to express themselves is not absolute. There are several legal restrictions on media freedom of expression. To express oneself is not absolute. There are several legal restrictions on media freedom of expression. The subjudicial that the media must not comment on court proceedings and must limit itself to court speech. The rules are meant to protect the individual concerned, and if a media organization violates the rules, it can be found guilty of contempt of court and fined. Contempt of court proceedings can also be used by judges to elicit information from journalists or to prevent the media from publishing certain court details and documents. The the acquisition and public publication of state and official information is strictly controlled by the Official Secret Act and by the notice. The media is also responsible for legislation for defamation and offenses. In such cases, the media organization and all the individuals involved can be held accountable. This restriction prevents absolute media freedom of expression. On the other hand, the media can often irresponsibility invade individual privacy, behave unequally, and sensationalism even in their favor. Restraining media agency, the Press Complaints Commission or PPC was formed in 1999. Uh, the 1999, 1919, this institution is financed by newspaper owners and is supposed to safeguard the freedom and independence of the press, maintaining journalism standards and access public complaints against newspapers. Some critics argue that PCC is not fighting as hard for press freedom as it could. Others argue that not being strict enough with newspapers when complaints against them are proven. Fear that the government might legislate against media abuse has led to a tightening of PCC rules on inflation or privacy, harassment by photographers, and the protection of children. Another concern about curtailing media freedom is the degree to which adversaries can dictate policy when they place their product. The question of advertiser influence is complex and perhaps more applicable today to the mass consumer radio and television market than to the press.
Okay, the last part is attached to the media. Despite the issues discussed above, opinion polls show that the media is not a source of great concern for the most Britons. respondents were moderately, if not excessively, satisfied with the BBC independent broadcaster. However, the vast majority are generally highly skeptical of the press and journalists, and distrustful of the content of the newspaper. It is difficult to fully unequivocally whether in the media play the dominant role in influencing publication on the political and another matter. The left wing view assumes that they do, and thence a recent disproof of alleged right-wing bias in the British media. But while some people may have had their attitude directly directly shaped in this way, it is argued and the majority the readers' viewers have made up their mind, retake to the balance attempt in indoctrination on the certain occasion for the certain event, such as elections. The media may have the important influence of the public opinions, but there is also the possibility that the media are simply following popular trends. Many people learn to read between the lines in newspaper and on the broadcast, and the condition early on not to believe everything you read in the newspaper or to hear on the television, since television in particular is often accused of being right wing or left wing, depending on, which government is in power. It seems that the British people are well informed from all sides of the political spectrum. In the practice, most people object to politics and another issue being the stuff down their throats, and many are skeptical of the matter. A 1999 Mori or British Council poll found that only 28% of overseas respondents, 5% for Germany, who believe that the British media as a whole cannot be relied upon to tell the truth. British media were perceived as the more honest than their counterparts in most of the overseas countries surveyed in the poll. Okay, thank you for your attention. Sorry for our mistake. Maybe until here. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.